Let's chat about ethical fatigue. So we're chatting a lot about ethics the last 2 months, and this is something that I don't feel has ever really been addressed. I've never really seen anybody talk about this side of ethics. It's always here's the right and the wrong way to do things, and here's the right and wrong way to be a practitioner. But what about the fatigue that comes with developing our ethics? Ethical fatigue, it doesn't arrive in this dramatic collapse. Rather, it's something that kind of sneaks up on us quietly. It looks like ending a session and feeling a little bit irritable. It looks like postponing a boundary conversation that you would normally handle immediately. It looks like thinking it's easier to just let this one slide, even though you know it really shouldn't just slide. Practitioners, we often assume burnout is about workload. We're taking on too much, we're doing too much, but ethical fatigue is about decision load. Every session asks you to regulate yourself in some way or form, to balance empathy with containment, to choose clarity over comfort, to monitor power without shrinking from it. That level of responsibility, that accumulates in the body. It's got to go somewhere. And over the weeks and months, your nervous system absorbs the strain of constantly being discerning, because discernment is imperative to the practice. It's imperative for us as practitioners. But when the body is tired, ethics begin to blur at the edges. You might extend times because confrontation just feels exhausting. You might avoid naming a pattern because you just don't have the energy for any kind of resistance. You may reduce your rates, soften your policies, or overlook subtle red flags from clients because you just simply do not want another difficult exchange. You don't have the capacity for it. And none of this makes you unethical. It makes you depleted. It makes you exhausted. Ethical fatigue is not moral failure, okay? It is a capacity issue. When restoration is missing, your regulation is going to weaken. And when your regulation is weakened, clarity is going to come into the equation, or lack thereof. As an embodied practitioner, you learn to recognize these early signals, the heaviness after a session, the dread of certain conversations, the temptation to over accommodate. And instead of pushing through, a structure becomes adjusted. The session volume is reduced, boundaries are tightened, supervision is sought out, or mentoring, so they're not holding every ethical decision alone. Ethical maturity is not about trying harder or doing better. It's about building systems for yourself that protect your discernment over time. And responsibility without restoration is very unsustainable. And unsustainable practice eventually erodes your integrity. It's going to eat away at your ethics. If you want your ethics to remain steady for years, not just in sessions for today and tomorrow, or sessions of high energy, you've got to account for the fatigue as part of professional responsibility. It's an innate part of our work. If you are recognizing this as something in yourself and you've been carrying the weight of constant responsibility without the adequate support, this is exactly the kind of work we work on together when you come and do mentoring with me. And it's not pushing you to do more. That's not what I'm going to be doing. It's about helping you structure your practice so that your integrity, your ethics can become sustainable. And if you're ready for that level of refinement, details on how to get going with mentoring with me are down in the description.